afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the closing session. The theme of the conference on promoting leadership, empowerment and sustainability through physical education, sport and physical activity reflects the scientific and technological advances of societies and promotes the union and peace of humanity. We wish that all participants had a fruitful experience exchanging knowledge and ideas across cultures at this conference and hopefully beyond. Zen?
Thank you. Thank you, Rosa. It's a great honor for me to participate in the closing ceremony hosted by Tianjin University of Sport. I'm Yang Zhen from Tianjin University of Sport. The distinguished guests attending today's closing ceremony: Professor Wang Huan, Secretary of the CPC TUS Committee; Professor Liu Chonglei, Director of University Office; Professor Xu Jinglu, Director of Scientific Research and Graduate Department; and Professor Liu Haina, Director of Foreign Affairs Office. Next, please enjoy the dance, 麦秀两旗. And now we are honored to present the President of IAPESGW, Rosa Lopez de Amengo, Venezuela, to introduce the award section. Rosa, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to this part of the awards ceremony, which is one of the highlights in the Quadrennial IAPESGW Congress. We celebrate and highlight great awardees. IAPESGW has 7 awards. 6 of them are named after some fantastic women leaders, pioneers in the field and role models. I have the privilege to present 3 of them, and my colleague Rosa Dickmuller will present the other 4. Rosa Dickmuller was the chair of the commission, accompanied by members of the IAPESGW board, who, without further delay, our certificate of, it's the certificate of appreciation to Tianjin University of Sport for the outstanding organization of the IAPESGW Quadrennial Congress 2020 by IAPESGW Board, Rosa Lopez de D'Amico, President Venezuela, Rosa Dickmuller, Austria, Vice President Beatriz Ferreira, Brazil, Vice President Kathy Ludwig, USA, Secretary Treasurer, Janice Crosswhite, Australia, Communications, Mariam Mayer from Switzerland, Arisa Yagi, Japan, Maria Elisa Guinto, Philippines, Fatima El Fakir, Morocco, Marian Kushki, Iran, Maria Dolores Gonzalez Rivera, Spain, Gladys Becker, Cuba, Shen Yan, China, Congress representative. So our greatest gratitude to Tianjin University of Sport, and this is on behalf of our organization. Now I continue with the awards ceremony. So for our awards ceremony, I will start first by indicating which one we are presenting. So the Kluka Love Award. Dr. Phyllis has been committed to girls and women in sport her entire adult life, focusing on young women and her home at State at Louisiana, initiating program projects and initiatives benefiting young generations. And Darlene Kluka, a former president of IAPESGW from 2005-2009. She has been a leading person in various IAPESGW Congress and has been active in multiple tasks in IAPESGW. And besides that, she has mentored many, many young people. So they have provided some money for the recipient of this award. Okay, so the awardee on this occasion, and we are very pleased because we have 13 participants who applied to this award, and it was not an easy task. It is Birgitta Perger from the University of Vienna, Department of Science, Unit of Education and Sport Culture, Austria. Her paper, she made quite a transformation, intersectional construction of female embodiment in PE. She is a PhD student, and her work focuses on body discourse in physical education. Birgitta holds a teaching degree in physical education and English. She is at the moment assistant at the Department of Education and Sport Culture at the University of Vienna, Austria. Birgitta, congratulations. Our best wishes to you. Now we continue with the Margaret Talbot Award. This is awarded by the president to individuals. Now I want to say a few words about Margaret Talbot. She was a very inspiring leader, president of IAPESGW from 1997 to 2005. She later became ICSPE president. She campaigned and committed for women's equality and to get physical education in all the school system and be respected as a subject, national and international level. She is a national leader in the field of sport policy, sport equity, governance, physical education, and sport development. Just yesterday was she would have been 75 years old. So it is a great surprise, and the chair and me, we agree that the awardees are Maria Gonzalez Rivera. She has served IAPESGW with strong commitments and excelling in the tasks that she has been commended. She was responsible as local host, but also as chair of the scientific committee in 2019 in our Congress celebrating 70th year of IAPESGW in Madrid, Spain. Besides, she also accepted the chair of the scientific committee in the 19th Quadrennial Congress. She has actively contributed with publications, for example, in Women and Sport in Latin America, Women and Sport in Asia, and more lately, co-editor of Women in and PE and Physical Education and Sport in Ibero-America. She has represented IAPESGW whoever or wherever we request her. She has participated in all our regional congress since 2014 and quadrennials since 2013. Thanks, Marilyn, for your continuous serving and dedication. Thank you very much. I know that right now you can't believe it, okay? Now, our second awardee is Maria Luisa Guinto from the Philippines. Marisa just joined IAPESGW in 2019, but she, and we all recognize her immense contribution she has given to IAPESGW, in spite of the fact that she said she has been just a short time, but it has been very impressive. She served as co-editor of the Women and Sport in Asia. She was willing to participate in all the editions of the program of PE and community coaches held in India in 2020 and in 2021. She has participated in promoting IAPESGW in various events, and for our 19th Quadrennial Congress, she has been a great support to all the technical and logistic aspects of the program. Last but not least, the last time there was a Filipino in the IAPESGW board was in 1981. Perhaps because of her, we have the biggest delegation outside China is from Philippines. Thank you, Marisa. Our next awardee is Usha Nair from India. I'm not sure if Usha is with us now. Usha just got acquainted of IAPESGW in early 2020, and we started communicating because of her contribution of the book Women and Sport in Asia. But in May 2020, she opened a window for IAPESGW in India. They celebrated 6 wonderful editions of a program dedicated to community coaches and PE teachers in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sport Government of India, Sport Authorities of India, and Lakshmi Bai National College of Physical Education in Kerala, India. Nearly 60,000 PE teachers and coaches participated. Each edition lasted 21 days. In 2021, they celebrated this program just for women PE teachers and coaches, and 10,000 women benefit from it. Usha is an example of its contribution to the values of IAPESGW. Thanks, dear Usha. And now arrives the time where we celebrate a honorary life member. And this is awarded to an individual member who have made a significant, sustained, and outstanding contribution to the work of the association. And it is my great pleasure to announce the honorary life member is given to Janice Crosswhite. Janice joined the executive board in 2006 and has continued to serve in different roles of the executive board through 4 quadrennial periods. She has served as great advocate and huge supporter of IAPESGW through the presidencies of Darlene Kluka, Tansin Ben, and myself for 8 years. She was nominated by her dedication and constant significant contribution to IAPESGW across so many years. She stepped up to the position of Vice President 2009-2017 and is currently Communication Director. Making a significant contribution to the work of the association has been achieved through the steady loyalty and unfailing support for successive presidents, executive board, and wider membership, always contributing, responding, and supporting to ever-changing needs of IAPESGW. In addition to everything undertaken for the executive board, Janice attended all Congress, always self-funded, to quadrennial and regional conference. For example, in Scotland, South Africa, Miami, Turkey, Iran, Spain, and she represented IAPESGW at a wider when asked, for example, at the UNESCO Sport and Drugs event in Qatar. Janice also made many contributions to IAPESGW publications, including leading on the Oceania Inspirational Women, Making a Difference in a Physical Education, Sport and Dance, 2016, as part of the 5 Continent series. She also supported as co-editor the writing of international colleagues in other IAPESGW books where English was the second language and the authors, and she applied for funding from the Global Fund to support projects. She has been a voice for the association, shaping press releases, initiating and preparing MOUs, example with Tehran, and many draft key legal policy position statements over the years. She has been pivotal in communications with many national representatives during her time, co-editing the newsletter for many years. And in the last 2 years, Jani has assumed full responsibility for collecting and editing the international material bi-monthly. This is undoubtedly the vibrant, visible, outward-looking, connecting core of IAPESGW today, and the efforts of Janice are greatly appreciated. Janice's life has been devoted to improving the position of women in sport and physical education, and she was able to bring her enthusiasm, motivational skill, and knowledge to the board. Her contribution to Australia were recognized in the award of the Order of Australia Medal for Service to the Community and Women's Sport in 2001. She has been a top-level basketball player, continuing at master level in the World Championship on this day. She has contributed to the organization of the Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games, and was the founding president of the Australian Women's Sport and Recreational Association. Life experience has enabled Janice to be a role model and mentor in her country and through much international involvement in sport. Gender equality remains her passion, and IAPESGW was fortunate to find Janice and benefit from the wealth of knowledge, skills, and positivity that she has brought to the association since 2006. In summary, Jani has made a significant contribution to IAPESGW, and we unanimously approved her nomination for the prestigious award of Honorary Life Member. Thank you, Janice, for all your dedication and friendship. Now continues my colleague Rosa Dickmuller for the next awardees, and congratulations to you all. It is a great pleasure.
As having it face-to-face, so please feel free to be enthusiastic as possible behind your screen and through the window. Yes, Kathy. Okay, thank you. So please, the video, you can start it.
Let's go to the next award. The next award is named after Dorothy Sears Ainsworth, the first president of IAPESGW, who lived from 1894 to 1976, and she was an international authority on physical education for women. She was professor and director of physical education at Smith College in USA, did her doctorate at Columbia University Teachers College, and she was in her early years teaching modern dance and also coaching a basketball team. She chaired in 1949 the first Quadrennial Scientific Conference of IAPESGW in Copenhagen, and she was a publisher and researcher on the issue of gender. She was nationally and internationally highly acknowledged in the field of health, physical education, teaching profession, in the Academy for Physical Education, and she wrote several books as author and co-author, namely the one of Individual Sports for Women in 1955. The person we honor with the Dorothy Ainsworth Award is awarded to individuals in recognition of sustained contribution to scholarly research that furthers the aim of the association. And I'm quite convinced that all of you agree with the famous recipient 2021 for this prize. The recipient 2021 is Kari Fasting. She studied pedagogy, psychology, German and sport and PE in Oslo and is Professor Emerita at the Norwegian School of Sport Sciences in Oslo, former rector, honorary and guest professor in several universities and countries like Canada, Denmark, Smith College, New Zealand, and so on and so on. Her research areas have over the years included different themes, but always with a gender perspective and primarily concerned with various aspects related to women and sport, women and the meaning in their lives, to equality and diversity, to gender and coaching, to gender and leadership, and even in her retired phase, she is offering research, for example, for the Council of Europe on gender balance in sport. Her main research area over the last 20 years, however, has been different aspects related to sexual harassment and abuse in sport. And therefore she is known as the international expert on and with studies on experiences of sexual harassment and abuse among sports students or experiences of different forms of abuse and harassment among female and male coaches, not only in Norway and Europe, but also, for example, in Zambia. In addition, she works also on developing measurement scales for bullying and sexual harassment. She's often engaged as expert consultant, for example, in the Council of Europe, in different projects, in the IOC, or as president or board member in national and international organizations like WSI Women's Sport International, International Working Group on Women and Sport, ICSB, in the European Working Group on Women and Sport, in International Sociology of Sport Associations, and in many European and international associations on sociology, sport science, women's sport and research. She was reviewer and editor in nearly all highly ranked journals in her field, and her list of publications was longer than 50 pages. And also the number of prestigious awards is impressive. And therefore, IAPESGW is really honored that Kari Fasting has accepted being awarded for the Dorothy Ainsworth Award in 2021. But let us hear herself what she thinks about getting this prestigious award of IAPESGW.
Hello. I'm very honored by receiving Dorothy C.S. Ainsworth Award for outstanding scholarly work. I never met her, but in 1989 I was invited as a keynote speaker to the IAPESGW Congress in Bali. This was my first trip to Asia, and I met people there that become lifelong friends and co-workers, such as Gertrud Pfister and Margaret Talbot. I also met some of Dorothy Ainsworth's famous followers and former presidents of the IAPESGW, among others Lieselotte Diem from Germany, Helene Tollich from Austria, and Patricia Bowen-West from UK, which all made a large impression on me. I have read that in her earlier years at Smith College, Dorothy Ainsworth taught modern dance and coached the basketball team. This illustrates the broadness on the interdisciplinarity which the IAPESGW represents, and which I personally think is very important in today's society, where everything gets more and more specialized. It is also mirrored in what Dr. Ainsworth said in an interview when she retired. I quote, "The ultimate aim of physical education is to make such contribution through the education and development of the student as to enable her to live a richer, more abundant life, to meet the problems of the age in which she lives, and to render service to others." But it is important that our teaching is research-based. And this quote can even today inspire us all to research further the potentials of our field. Again, thank you very much for the award.
Our next award is the Lynn Wendian International Leadership Award. This award is named by the American professor of physical education Lynn Wendian, who was professor at Amherst University in Massachusetts, and she was a leader in international and comparative physical education. She focused on the issue of girls' physical activity, also in relation to leisure time activity and physical education since the 1950s. She was also closely connected to IAPESGW. She is an author of the famous book Physical Education, Teacher Education, Guidelines for Sport Pedagogy. This award started in 1997 and is intended to individuals who have exhibited a leadership role in contributing the quality of life of girls and women through physical education, physical activity and sports. And the winner for this year's Lynn Wendian International Leadership Award is Gudrun Doltepper from Germany. To summarize, Gudrun, with all the efforts she has made during her ongoing career, in 2 minutes is impossible. It would be easier for me to advise you to read the book by Dumont, Hoffmann, Köhnen, Bailey, Zinkler and me, edited in 2017 on occasion of one of her birthdays, but this book is about 220 pages with more than 40 contributors, symbolizing the tremendous network she built up as an outstanding leader during her career. The list of contributors looks like the who is who in international and national sport and scientific world, like presidents of the International Olympic Committee, International Paralympic Committee, Special Olympics, International Council of Sport Science and Physical Education, national and international sports organizations and universities, physical education teacher associations, and of course women's committees and IAPESGW. Everybody wanted to be included in thanking her for her outstanding international leadership. But she was not only an advocate, manager and fantastic teacher, she was also a researcher, publishing more than 350 scientific articles and books and so on. And nearly no issue in the field of women and sport she has not yet contributed to. And how she managed this? Once she told me, from Friday to Wednesday, I'm teaching at the university. From Thursday to Sunday, I'm working as a leader in sports on national and international level. Her main effort would be, as I think, that she's the one who is able to convince authorities all over the world to implement strategies needed to bring sport and society forward. It is her energy with which she welcomes everybody, and I have to say I was overwhelmed by her powerful, unforgettable personality when I met her first time as a young researcher. This was at the IAPESGW Congress in the 1990s. And during the next 2 decades, she never missed the IAPESGW conferences and was a networker par excellence. Empowering women and girls through her many leadership positions was never just a function or a title. For her, this meant action and example for others. And for this action and model of good practice in advocating women and girls in and through physical education, physical activity and sports, IAPESGW is really pleased to honor your work with the Lynn Wendian International Leadership Award. And what Gudrun is saying to this award you will hear in a minute.
Dear colleagues, dear friends, at the Tianjin 2021 IAPESGW International Conference, I'm so honored and thankful to all of you for having chosen me as a recipient of the Lynn Wendian International Leadership Award. Thank you so much. Looking back in my life, I would like to let you know that I had contact with IAPESGW as early as in the late 1960s when I started to study physical education in Berlin. The first information that I received came from Professor Lieselot Diem when she was president of your prestigious organization. She introduced students like myself to take part in international exchange programs, while I found this so extremely exciting, and I'm sure many of you share this experience with me. Now I would like to make a big jump in history. In 1996, I was elected the first female president of the International Council of Sport Science and Physical Education, ICSPE. From 1990 to 1996, I had already been a member of the executive board, and there was only one other female person on that board, and that was Patricia Bowen-West, representing IAPESGW. During the following years, we joined forces with many member organizations to ensure equal access to all persons to participation and to leadership positions. Many persons, like the late Margaret Talbot, Gertrud Pfister, Darlene Kluka, Carol Oglesby, and I could mention so many more, and I apologize for not mentioning all of you by name. We were successful in bringing up change in physical education and sport and in society in general. I would like to encourage you all to continue your work and your efforts towards ensuring equity and equality in physical education and sport in all parts of the world. Once again, thank you. I wish you an inspiring conference, and I'm looking forward to meeting you again in person as soon as possible. Bye-bye.
Our next award is the Chioe Matsumoto Dance Development Award. Chioe Matsumoto is noted as the founder of dance education in Japanese schools and universities, and she was a leader in dance education research and a legend in Japan. Her main interest was that children expressed themselves freely in dance and stressed individual education and self-expression. She believed that creative dance potentially has a function or a meaning that brings out the individual possibilities in children. She was also highly acknowledged in the field of education, appointed into the Curriculum Guidelines Committee, and she was always strongly supported the empowerment of female PE teachers through the Japanese Association of PE Women. With this association, she edited a monthly magazine named Physical Education for Children and Women, which led to collaboration with Japan's Women's College of Physical Education and later the Japan Association for PE and Women. And as the chairperson of JAPI, she took part in IAPESGW congresses since 1957. She organized the IAPESGW Congress in Tokyo in 1969. As a university professor, she investigated modern theater dance and school dance education in the USA, in UK and Europe, and succeeded in establishing a degree in dance education studies in Okjolomchi Women University. After retiring, she continued as a leader of dance education and dance studies at the JAPI Chief Director and Vice President of the Japan Society for Dance Research till 1993. She is the first honorary president of both organizations as well as an honorary life member of IAPESGW. So it's a pleasure that Maria Dinold, assistant professor from the University of Vienna, is awarded with the Chioe Matsumoto Dance Development Award. As a respected dance practitioner, researcher, and/or teacher who has sustained a strong reputation over many years and continues to work in the field of dance. Maria is graduated in sports science, and besides this, she's state-approved instructor for disability sport, wrote her PhD in dance and creative movement as a media for lifelong development for people with and without disabilities. And her teaching areas are in the field of adapted physical activity and education, inclusion of students with disabilities in PE, physical activity and sport and disability, dance and creative movement for all age groups and all kinds of functional limitations, and others. In the field of dance, she offered seminars for dance and creative movement for people with and without disabilities. She's offering inclusive environments and settings, and she's also working at International Dance Weeks as lecturer and very highly experienced in choreographing and performing. She has been involved in a variety of international exchanges and held a variety of positions in national, European and international organizations, as well as president of ISAP, International Society of Adapted Physical Activity, the European Federation, as vice president of IXB, the chair of ICSB, beside others, and as well as, of course, as a former board member of IAPESGW. Her focus was always in offering inclusive environments with a special focus on girls with disabilities and their opportunities through creative movement and dance. What is outstanding is that she initiated a certification course for individuals with disabilities to get a dance instructor, what is worldwide unique and a great offer, especially for disabled females, as well gaining dance and teaching skills in the area of creative movement and dance. Therefore, IAPESGW is very proud to honor you, Maria, with the Chiyoji Matsumoto Dance Development Award. And we're also very interested in your greetings to the association.
Hello, this is Maria Dinold from Vienna, Austria. I send my greetings to you on the conference of IAPESGW 2021. As I got the information that I will get the dance award, I was very surprised but equally honored. And I'm not sure if I will deserve this honor. But anyway, I know that I dedicated lifelong my work to dance, to create, to teach, and it was really my dedication, and I think it is important that we include people with a disability in this kind of work, to dance, to create, and even if it is not perfect, to show talents and to continue in this research and also as well in this practical work. I thank you again very much and only can say keep on dancing. Thank you.
Our next prize is the Audrey Bambra Legacy Award. Audrey Bambra studied physical education at N State College of Physical Training, and she had a long career in teaching, sport, and as recreational leadership, lecturing in teacher education. She was outstanding in dance, gymnastics and swimming, and renowned for her international influence in dance, in particular becoming an author and leader of the National Dance Faculty in the United Kingdom. She was involved in the merging of small colleges into large polytechnic and university institutions, and an expert in the area of influencing politics in higher education in her role as a principal of Chelsea College of Physical Education. She was a positive contributor to the field of women's advancement in physical education and sport for many decades. She was a long-standing member of IAPESGW, a member of the executive board. She was the first editor of the IAPESGW Bulletin, and her international exposure to ideas ensured her professional work never stagnated. She continued to seek innovation through the exchange of knowledge and ideas, and she continued her services to the United Kingdom Sports Council post her retirement. Audrey Bambra was made an honorary member of IAPESGW for her outstanding services to the association for over many years. And the Audrey Bambra Legacy Award goes 2021 to two organizations whose work has resulted in a legacy of positive influence on the lives of girls and women on a national, local level and having international influence. CAPESGW, the Korean Association of Physical Education and Sport for Girls and Women, and JAPI, the Japanese Association for Physical Education for Women, have done a tremendous work since its foundation 67 years ago. They are nearly as old as IAPESGW itself. Nevertheless, both organizations have contributed as national organizations to the development of physical education, sport and dance in their countries, and had important influences on national curricula, on gymnastics, on dance development and on health promotion. Their collaboration with other national organizations like JAPI with Japan Women's College of Physical Education or the Japan Association for Physical Education for Women are wonderful models for other organizations. Their ongoing and long-lasting work has resulted in a legacy of positive influence. and through spreading their knowledge, their attitude in empowering and supporting girls through physical activity, high quality physical education, sport and dance is really outstanding. Our special thanks goes also to CHAPI, which tried to organize a second time the International IAPESGW Conference in Tokyo. Unfortunately, the pandemic did not allow it. But I'm quite sure that Arisa Yagi from CHAPI and Professor Kyung Ok Yi from IAPESGW will inform us a bit more about their associations in the following messages.
Hello, we are the Japan Association of Physical Education for Women. We are very honored to receive this precious award, the Audrey Bambler Legacy Award, especially at this moment as we celebrate the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. And most grateful to the IAPESGW President Rosa and all the colleagues from the world for giving us opportunities to take part in your history and to encourage Japanese colleagues. I greatly appreciate the support of my nice and tolerant team and their families, and our foreigners as well. Thank you very much. And ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとう。
See you.
See you.
Dear members of the International Association of Physical Education and Sport for Girls and Women, today I'm honored to receive the Audrey Bambler Legacy Award from the International Association of Physical Education and Sport for Girls and Women, and express an appreciation on behalf of the Korean Association of Physical Education and Sport for Girls and Women. I owe a big gratitude to the committee, including President Rosa Lopez D'Amico of the International Association of Physical Education and Sport for Girls and Women. And I would like to share this joy and glory with our great seniors who founded the Korean Association of Physical Education and Sport for Girls and Women 67 years ago in 1954, when the nation was a barren land for women's sports. Last but not the least, I extend my deep appreciation to all of our members who are still working hard for the growth and development of women's sports and physical education. May God bless all of you to overcome the threat posed by the corona epidemic. Thank you.
And last but not least, we will close this ceremony award with a highlight, given another honorary life membership of IAPESGW. We give this to a university professor, a coordinator of a research center, a former vice dean and PE and English teacher, a coach in artistic gymnastics, a worldwide advocate and leader in PE, sport and gender, and we give it to Rosa Lopez D'Amico. The decision was argued with a great respect and admiration for the way in which she has undertaken her presidency from 2013 until now and earlier as board member, meeting the criteria of making a significant contribution to the work of the association. She has done this through leadership, presenting, organizing, publishing, and she has ensured a strong conference profile, multiple international publications, and profiling the association at many events across the world. She was supported or led IAPESGW conferences in Canada, South Africa, Miami, Turkey, Iran, Spain, Cuba, China, India, and has represented IAPESGW at many events including IWG and UNESCO. She has been the first IAPESGW board member and president from Latin America, and across international sports organizations this remains unique. The 70th anniversary book and her whole life led her down the road of sport and gender studies. Her commitment to the values of constant global engagement illustrated through her efforts for the association. It reflects how she has continued the IAPESGW legacy and supported many girls and women across the world in PE, physical activity and sport. Apart from unwavering leadership of IAPESGW, one of her greatest contributions has been in encouraging colleagues across the world to commit in writing for several key books, for example the 5 Continent series, with 161 authors from 60 countries, Women in Sport in Latin America, and just recently, Women in Sport in Asia. She has been able to connect and profile IAPESGW to wider international organizations like IWG, within the Physical Education Associations, within sports management, within organizations to develop sports of people with disabilities, within the International Comparative Association, and also as an executive board member of IXPI. All of this has happened alongside her full-time university work in Venezuela, teaching, researching, publishing, being embedded in the development of national curriculum, and so on. So there can be no doubt that Rosa had made a significant contribution to IAPESGW and honor her with the prestigious award of the Honorary Life Membership. So congratulations on behalf of the whole board and all its members.
Feuerwerk, fire. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to our awardees. IAPESGW is really an international family. Now next, please enjoy the dance. It is based on students of different specialties in our school to show the youthful outlook of young people who are vigorous and positive. The students who participated in the exhibition were Chinese dance, sports dance, cheerleading, hip-hop dance, and rhythmic gymnastics. Please enjoy.
青春有歌开学季校园云歌会的同学们，大家好，这里是天津体育学院，我是郭峰。新学期已开启，愿所有的青年朋友们都拥有自己的梦想，我们一起筑梦新征。抬起头去开创，我们一起加油，不放弃，去奋斗。我们改变世界的模样，我们勇往直前，我们连接世界的目光，期待就在身旁。世界的光芒，我们激情飞扬，我们创造世界的力量，奇迹就在前方。我们一起出发，迎着风去拼闯，我们一起走过，不停留。去追求，我们一起努力，抬起头去开创，我们一起加油，不放弃，去奋斗。我们改变世界的模样，我们勇往直前，我们世界的目光， 世界的模样，我们勇往直前，我们连接世界的目光，期待就在身旁。我们拥抱世界的光芒，我们尽情飞扬，我们创造世界的力量，奇迹就在前方，就在前方，就在前方，就在前方。
So thank you for this nice presentation, and we are coming now to the next highlight. IAPESGW is very thankful and excited being able, even in these times of COVID-19, to announce the place for the next quadrennial, the 20th in the history of IAPESGW conference. Please be surprised where we're going to.
Good day and congratulations to all the attendees and organizer of the 19th IAPESGW World Congress. My name is Dina Bernardo from the Philippines, and it is my distinct honor to present to you what's in store for 2025. This is based on the proposal that we have submitted to your esteemed board. Now, I represent the Sport Management Council of the Philippines, and as an organization, we believe in assisting and promoting excellence in various fields of sports, management, education, policy, science, and as well as sport for development. So we have organized in the past physical conferences, as well as webinars and virtual conferences. And our sport for development causes are distinctly in the women in sports space, as well as inclusive sports. So boldly, we presented to the IAPESGW to have a conference here scheduled for September 2025. It will be a 3-day event with learning sessions, plenary, and it will be offered both as a face-to-face and a virtual format. We want to introduce distinct features here, such as a sport for development pitching, wherein the winners can get mini grants. And we will have pre-events like virtual races, as well as post-events involving tourism opportunities. The advantage of having it here is that we can extend the reach of IAPESGW towards this region, particularly the Southeast Asian neighbors and the neighboring Asian countries. And as a perspective, this is the Philippines, as we are surrounded by these countries from all over within a 3 to about 8-hour travel from this area that we see. And even though I live here in this red star, we said, okay, let's be inclusive and prove it. And that's why we boldly put this conference in the middle of the country called Cebu. So Cebu has a robust sporting culture, and it is suitable to encourage travelers from the north and south. And it also has an international airport wherein the major flights can be found. Cebu is very historic. It is where the first international explorers came and introduced Christianity. And here's a little video that I want to show you to see what it's all about. As I've mentioned, this is our new airport, newly built, and it even won an architectural award. There shouldn't be a problem with the flights, and the distance between the airport and the intended venue, which is the University of Southern Philippines Foundation, is a good about 35-minute travel. University of Southern Philippines Foundation, their values are very much aligned with us. They are also steeped in sports, thanks to their founder, Agustin Herreta. And having this event for them is like resurrecting that legacy of sports. Their venue is accessible in all areas. Even for this auditorium, which is found on the 4th floor, you can expect accessibility ramps. So this is where we will hold our plenary sessions. The University of Southern Philippines is right smack in the middle of all these accommodations because it is in the city center. There's the IT park beside it, as well as shopping malls. And we are looking at these two particular hotels wherein most of us participants will be staying. And the price range of these hotels are about $60 to $80 a night. So I hope I've been able to give you a glimpse of what's in store. And we're very excited to have you here. Thank you for giving us this distinct opportunity, and we will certainly make it your while. So see you, IAPESGW, in 2025.
Okay, it's really exciting introduction. Next, we are honored to present Professor Wang Huan, Secretary of the CPC of Tianjin University of Sport Committee, to announce the final words.
尊敬的女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家好！很高兴也很荣幸，能和大家一起参加第19届国际女童与妇女体育运动协会世界大会闭幕式。在此，我要向本届大会的成功举办表示热烈的祝贺。在国际女童与妇女体育运动协会引领和推动下，国际社会日益关注和重视女童和妇女体育运动事业，越来越多的机构和个人投入到这项事业中。今年第19届国际女童与妇女体育运动协会以线上会议的形式，在中国渤海之滨的天津市，在天津体育学院举办，旨在交流在体育科学、运动医学、体育运动、体育教育及女性体育实践等各个领域的最新发现、经验和成果，展示体育运动改变女童和妇女命运的重要作用，激励更多人投身体育平等事业。回顾过去的3天，大会取得了丰硕的成果。会议全面贯彻落实习近平总书记在全国教育大会上的重要讲话精神，对促进世界女童和妇女体育事业发展、加强体育教育、文化专业建设和科学研究、增进国际交往发挥出重要的作用。在此，我谨代表天津体育学院全体师生员工，感谢各位专家学者的积极参与，感谢学会全体委员、本届大会组委会、全体工作人员的精心筹备、认真组织和辛勤付出。女士们、先生们、朋友们，2021年是特殊的一年，受新冠肺炎疫情影响，全球数以亿计的人口面临生命安全的威胁，对女童和妇女的影响也尤为明显。在这样一个特殊的时期，我们更要充分发挥国际女童和妇女体育运动协会重要作用、世界号召力和影响力，增强世界各国对女童和妇女体育运动事业的关注，想方设法让更多的人关注女童和妇女的生命健康，让他们不因疫情 而受到更多波及。女士们、先生们、朋友们，让女童和妇女得到良好的教育，进行科学的体育锻炼，对促进人类社会的全面发展与进步尤为重要，具有深远的意义。作为第19届国际女童与妇女体育运动协会世界大会承办单位，天津体育学院呼吁更多国家和各界人士积极支持和参与女童和妇女的体育事业。我校将以更加积极的作为，主动对接国家体育强国、健康中国战略和“一带一路”倡议，以更加开放的心态，继续同世界各国和有关国际组织加强合作，推动各国间合作交流，为促进女童和世界妇女体育事业发展，共建人类命运共同体和健康共同体贡献力量。女士们、先生们、朋友们，让我们共同努力，携手创造更加美好的未来。谢谢大家。
Thank you, Ron. I'd like to hand over to Rosa Lopez D'Amico for her final word.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are located in all places of the world. The Congress has arrived to its end, and we are all very pleased because we have accomplished the celebration of the 19th IAPESGW Quadrennial Congress. So now, allow me to address a few words as the closing speech. It's divided in 3 parts. It starts with a closing statement of the Congress, continue with some IAPESGW facts, and it finishes with my closing address, as it is my last address as President of IAPESGW. So without any further ado, I start by expressing my respect to Professor Ji Shen-yu, President of Tianjin University of Sport, Professor Wang Han, Secretary of the CPC of Tianjin University of Sport, Professor Maria Dolores Gonzalez Rivera, Chair of the Scientific Committee, Professor Shang Xi, Co-Chair of the Scientific Committee and Vice President of Tianjin University of Sport, dear keynote speakers, panelists, oral and poster presenters, workshop leaders, and moderators, dear participants, dear board, and IAPESGW members. The closing statement starts recognizing that the virtual China IAPESGW Congress was attended by about 1,800 viewers, 208 delegates from 41 countries and areas representing all continents of the globe in the time of a global pandemic. We believe this is the first time a women's academic sport organization has organized such an event in China, in which it was possible to unite East and West. Congruent with the presentation we have heard from the 19th IAPESGW World Congress in Tianjin, China, the closing statement highlights the following recurrent aspects discussed. The International Association of Physical Education and Sport for Girls and Women supports human rights for all and particularly supports all efforts to increase the participation of girls and women across physical education, sport, dance, and physical activity. IAPESGW rejects all forms of discrimination against girls and women and encourages international sport federations and associations to show their commitment to inclusion by increasing female participation in their sport and by growing the number of women in various leadership roles, particularly in coaching. IAPESGW calls on all sports respect for religious belief, including the wearing of religious costume of women in sports. IAPESGW encourages governments, education, and health organizations to take action to increase the level of physical activity across all ages as sedentary lifestyles impact on fitness and health. IAPESGW encourages active research on women in sports and encourages research into transgender participation in sports. Preschool and both public and private schools should endorse and support physical education across their curriculum. IAPESGW endorses the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and particularly SDG 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. SDG 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. SDG 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Acknowledgement, IAPESGW is most grateful for the dedicated cooperation and the efforts of Tianjin University of Sport to deliver a wonderful and highly successful Congress. The Congress was indeed very successful. I believe this has been our biggest challenge in this quadrennial, to host the virtual 2021 Congress in Tianjin University of Sport in China. It represented learning about culture, technology, and moreover, finding new friends who were willing to go further and to make this historical connection. Our sincere appreciation to all the ones working in the organizing committee. Long and long hours have been spent to make this possible. Behind scene, there are many people engaged to make it work. Big thanks to all the organizing committee. There are many names. Xie to you all. On behalf of the IAPESGW board, our appreciation to the TUS that since December 2019 embraced the idea of the IAPESGW Congress in Tianjin University of Sport. And I also want to mention the ones we have been in contact for months, to Liu Haina, Shan Xiaoyu, Liu Min, Din Qinshan, Gan, who were instrumental logistic operators to make this possible. Last but not least, to Professor Ji, President of TUS, and particularly to Dr. Walter Ho and Professor Wang Yan, who introduced Tianjin University of Sport to the IAPESGW board and announced and promoted the hosting of the event in this venue. Our sincere appreciation to Maria Dolores Gonzalez Rivera, Chair of the Scientific Committee, who did an extraordinary work with the Scientific Committee who accompanied her. Maria Luisa Guinto for her important inputs to the logistic program. Beatriz Ferreira, Marian Koshki, Arisa Jaggi, Jin Shon Chan, Sun Yan Li, Wang Jian, and Xu Jin Liu. And of course, the many others who join in different roles. The academic program has 6 keynote speakers, 5 workshops, 7 panels, 58 oral presentations, and 60 posters. The fact that we had the chance to listen and to know the research from our Chinese colleagues and students is a major task in our field. The final book of proceedings has been uploaded in our webpage, and you will receive the certificates directly from the LOC. How proud we are to feel that it was accomplished, the task. IAPESGW, as an academic organization started in 1949, has been promoting academic debates to challenge gender equality issues in physical education and sport in national and international contexts. We practice and promote research, inclusion, cultural understanding, respect, and acceptance. In the slide, you can see many examples of many places where we have been. And I am quite sure that in all those places, organizers and participants also face different realities and contexts. We welcome men and women as we together are necessary to make the world change in terms of equality and equity. It depends on us. I always give an example on how fast we change technology and how slow we as human beings react to certain changes. In 1948, it was signed the Declaration of Human Rights, and we are today, 73 years later, talking about this. And still in the world, for example, the Development Sustainable Goals related with gender, education, health, to mention just 3 out of the 17 have not been achieved. So each one of us needs to push forward. When I became president in 2013, I had such a huge responsibility on my shoulders with these extraordinary women who were president before me, and you can see them in the slide, and I pay my respect to them. Being the first Latin American president was a huge challenge, and moreover, coming from my home country, Venezuela. In our last 2 quadrennial periods, we have been involved with many projects and many declarations. We have been in many places, many hours have been involved in this voluntary work. It has many implications. It is easier to talk about inclusion, but practice is more complex. Let's ask ourselves, how much do we practice it? It has been a busy and a very unusual year and a half, for some 2 years, our lives in a pandemic. But it was also complex in Cuba in 2013, then challenging Miami in 2017, and the most complex one, of course, in 2021, not just because of the pandemic that forced us to virtual environment, but also to unite East and West, breaking barriers to technological platforms. To accept that there are other realities, other literatures, other truth is a step forward to advance in inclusion. Executive Board, together we have achieved a great deal, and yet there is a lot more to be done. My deepest appreciation to the wonderful women I have had the chance to meet in the IAPESGW family, but particularly to my fellow board members in both periods: Janice Crosswhite, Annalise Gosling, Karin Loftrop, Rosa Dickmuller, Marianne Meyer, Marian Kushki, Kay Min, Beatriz Ferreira, Arisa Jaggi, Gladys Baker, Maria Gonzalez Dolores, Maria Luisa Guinto, Fatima El Fakir, and the 2 former presidents, Darlene Kluka and Tansin Ben, who have been supporting to make IAPESGW grow. The last years have been complex on a personal level, as well as for the organization to move ahead. But based on our teamwork, collegiality, mutual support, one was ready to support the other when one could not make it. My deepest gratitude for your support in difficult times. Voluntary work is a gift, is a talent, it is a way of life. To help others nurture all of us and society itself. We have 33 country representatives, and I hope you support the board with the coming task. Remember, we are all responsible to make IAPESGW grow. And for those that don't see your country represented in the slide, do not hesitate to contact us. The new board member elected in our General Assembly on September 7 is as follows: President Rosa Dickmuller, Vice President Marian Meyer and Beatriz Ferreira, Secretary Maria Luisa Guinto, Communications Maria Dolores Gonzalez Rivera, Member Marian Kushki Haromi, Treasurer Kathy Ludwig, Co-opted members Arisa Jaggi, Fatima El Fakir, last Congress Representative Shane Yang, next Congress Representative Geraldine Governado. Congratulations. For those staying on the board and new members, many thanks for your future contributions to serving the mission and vision of IAPESGW around the world. There is still more to be done to achieve true gender equality in physical education and sport. My best wishes to you, my dear friends. Stay safe and keep up the inspiring work. Finally, thanks once more to Tianjin University of Sport for hosting us. Our best wishes to you. Congratulations to the host in 2025, and thanks Geraldine Bernardo and the Philippines. Your success will be ours. To all of you who follow IAPESGW, wherever we are in the world, wherever we celebrate our events, my ongoing gratitude to you all. So see you in the Philippines in 2025. Thank you, gracias, 谢谢, obrigada, merci, danke, terima kasih, kamsahamnida, arigato gozaimasu, efharisto, shukran, salamat. Bye-bye, and my best wishes to you all. And thank you for your continued support to IAPESGW.
Three, two, one.
Hello, hola, ni hao, ciao, salud, ¿cómo está? Annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, marhaba, kia ora, namaste. Greetings in all languages possible.
第19届国际女童和妇女体育运动协会世界大会现在开幕。
For inviting me to be
Professor.
the members.
Good morning, good afternoon.
This is a picture of the car and what we do.
Today it's economic access prevention.
At other meetings.
Well, from the work.
Namaskar.
Of my country.
Author is me.
Sports science.
The 5 women.
Diverse kinds of concept or movement. Medal in swimming.
Social difference.
Wild games. It's my pleasure presentation on gender.
Is on outside normatives. These have never.
Students. From US.
Social.
For gender equality.
Clone on the hobbies.
下面由我来带大家。
Good natured also nourish.
第19届国际女童与妇女体育运动协会世界大会闭幕式。
With declare the 19th IAPESGW closed. The award is especially to Janice Crosswhite and Rosa Lopez D'Amico. And all the others.